Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well and welcome back to the channel. So it's the middle of winter here at Woburn, the ground is soaking wet. Today's video is all about how you can use your hybrid much more than you think and how safe it is, particularly when the ground is really soft. Some of the lessons here you'll be able to take into the season as well in terms of where you play it, but very soft ground, lofted club. You can chip very well if you understand and go through some of my techniques for this shot, but maybe if you don't play as much or you're not feeling as confident when the ground is this wet, how easy is it to do something like that, okay, where you get the club travelling down too much and it gets stuck in the ground, okay, very easy to do that. But the good news is, with the hybrid, it's impossible to do that. Very difficult to miss hit a hybrid. So it's a very safe option. So I'm going to go through some of the basics that allows you to play this shot and avoid that chunky one that you just saw me play there. So firstly, what hybrid should you use? Well, if you've got a 4 or a 5, I would recommend going with that. I've got a number 4 here. You could use a 3 if you carry a 3, or you could even think about using a wood, which I'll play some later as actually I'll get my 7 wood and show you how I can play that very well with that club as well. But the hybrid is probably better than a wood if you possibly can, because if you carry one, because generally the length is much shorter. If you look at the length of the 4 hybrid versus a 5 wood, for example, it's about 2 inches shorter, so it doesn't get caught in you too much. It gives you a little bit more touch and feel. So ideally 4, 5 hybrid as well would be excellent. But the key here is how you hold it. Now, a lot of people, for the first time, if you haven't done this much, what you will do is you will grip it like you will grip it as if you're hitting a full swing, like your driver. So whether you'll use a baseball grip, an overlapping grip, or an interlocking grip, you'll use one of those 3. And the thing is, when you use a normal grip here, it's very easy for the wrist to get involved. And look at it, it goes off like an absolute rocket way over the other side of the green. Now, you don't want that, of course. Now, you've got a good strike, but you've got zero control. So the key here is to use a specialist putting grip. So a specialist putting grip generally is something which takes the wrist out of the swing, out of the putting stroke. So the most classic putting grip over the last 50, 100 years has been what you call the reverse overlap, and that is where all the fingers of the right hand are on. There's a bit of a trigger here with the forefinger of the right, and you put the left forefinger down over the knuckles. Now, there's variations on that, but something like that would be a good position, because when you get that left finger long, what it does is it makes this muscle here at the top of the thumb, and it makes the thumb get longer, so it stretches it, and that starts to really lock the wrist. So that's why you'll see this is such a common grip, where both thumbs are down the middle of the grip, but a long left thumb. So all the greats, Tiger Woods has used this reverse overlap for putting his entire career, and Brad Faxon and Lauren Roberts, all these great putters of all time, Ben Crenshaw, okay, they've just gone with this reverse overlap grip. Not to say if you don't use a reverse overlap, you could probably do this very well with left below right, or even the claw grip. You might even be able to try that, and in fact, I'll give that a go actually. I've not had to go with that myself actually. So reverse overlap grip, get the handle up pretty much as high as you can. Go down the grip, almost onto the graphite. Ball position centre, just forward of centre is good. And you're just looking to make a putt. Hopefully your putting stroke doesn't have a ton of wrist in. If it does, go get a putting lesson. But you're basically hoping that the club just goes low to low, like a little stroke, and the large sole of the hybrid then just brushes the grass and budges it through. You'll see how much safer this is. I mean, I literally could stand there all day and just make a little putt like that and hit it towards the hole. Can't miss hit it, particularly off wet, soggy ground, which this is very, very soft. Look. You cannot miss hit it. So up again, very high hands, reverse overlap grip, and just make a putt, no wrists. And you can see it just skips up and then runs down towards the hole, okay? Very easy. There's no hit in it. You feel like you're just delivering one speed into this all the time. You just little stroke like that, and you can see how easy that is. Great options. Now, how far can you play this? Well, firstly, to that middle pin there, we're getting on for what, 20, 25 yards there. You could definitely do it there, not a problem. Let's just see if we can get it there. A tiny bit more speed, but still very easy to get there. So 25 yards, really comfortable. I didn't add so much a longer swing there. I didn't add wrist into it. I just did it a little bit quicker with the actual motion. So the length of swing almost stays the same. Oh, nearly. The length of swing stays the same, it's just the speed of the swing. When you're using a hybrid, you really want to be changing. So how far could I get this then? I'm going to hit beyond that pin now, so I'm not going to a hole. I'm going to hit it towards the bank at the back there. So that's, yeah, landed just in front of me, but that has got out there to, I mean, that's 40 yards away, right at the back of the green there. I wouldn't perhaps want to hit it any further than that. So I would draw the line at 40 yards, just a little bit of speed, very easy, and you can see there's nothing like anything that looks like a miss hit here. Look at that, it's just absolutely pin high against the last ball. So seriously good option, it really is. I'd love to hear some feedback in the comments as to whether you've ever done this or something you haven't done, but I think you're going to get some good results from it. Let's just try these different grips now, actually, because I know some of you will use these different grips. So let's just try this out. Left below right. I've never done this before with the hybrids, but it feels like I can get in more or less the same position. And fine, just a little putt. Actually feels really nice, that. So that's the left below right grip. So if you do that and you putt, absolutely fine to do with a hybrid. Really, really easy. Really easy. Let's try the claw. I know this is a popular grip these days, isn't it? This sort of thing here. Up there. It feels a bit weird, that one. I don't like that one. Let's have another go at that. That feels a bit awkward for me, but that's because I've never clawed it. I don't know if holding it that way, it just feels like it's a bit wobbly. It doesn't feel like when I do left below or standard, I feel like I've got hold of it. But if you've always clawed it, it should work fine. Not for me. But hopefully that makes sense in terms of the fundamentals there. So you got the grip, you got really high, okay, and you're just making a putt. And what a lovely little shot that is, okay. I'd love to hopefully get that into your own games. Right, so I'm going to go through some different situations now, some run-offs, maybe in the rough as well, and for some really muddy lies, and show you how you can use it for more places than maybe you think. Right, we're in one of these classic run-off areas here, so it runs down into these bowls, and this is where the hybrid shot comes into its own. You could have all types of lie here. You could be on like really hard pan link style, you could just have really tight, lush grass, or you could have conditions like today where it's just wet and a little bit muddy. Obviously, if you're feeling confident, this is the perfect position to play release 2. Something like that, nice and soft, go in, lipped out. But understand from these sort of wet lies and just tight lies in general, that might not be a shot that everyone is comfortable playing. So this is where the hybrid is just great. You've got to feel it, obviously, you've got to get the distance right on this, but just make sure when you're playing this, walk ahead, check there's no massive amounts of divots and things in your way. But the idea here is you're going to keep it low, the hybrid will skip it up a bit, get to the top, and then hopefully just feed down towards the hole. So got to hit a little bit harder because I'm anticipating the slope's going to be soft with the conditions. You can see that nibbles up there and then down, not quite inside the release 2 shot, but not bad at all. Most of you would take that. So again, we're up, we're just making a little putt into the bank takes some of the speed out of the ball, and then it just runs down. Really easy. You know, golf is about trying to shoot your lowest score. I think sometimes we do forget that. That is how a lot of you are going to shoot your lowest score, just making a putt with a hybrid up the bank and then feed it down. Go on and go in. Oh, nearly. See how simple that is. It really is very, very simple. And I mentioned some of you might have a wood. You might not carry a hybrid. And if you're one of those players, that's fine. This is a 5 wood actually, but it's turned up to a 6.5 or so really with the loft. So the downside of this is you can see the difference in the length firstly. Look. I mean, so it is a good couple of inches longer. So it just gets a little bit awkward. Sort of gets stuck in your top a little bit really. So maybe go down the grip a little bit more, and that's just off. But I'm starting to worry about it getting caught in my jacket, and that's why if you've got a hybrid it's easier, much easier. But you can still just do the same thing with a wood. There you go, makes a little bit of a different noise, but it could go in. Well, I think that was on its way in, I think. Now I've got space now to hold it, come on. There we go. So you can still totally get it done with a lofted club if you've got that. Just got to be careful about it not getting trapped in your clothing. That's the only thing, whereas the hybrid, there's no danger of that. So this is a great shot to use from these runoff areas. You see it used a lot at Open Championships when you're down in these little swales and you just got to bump it in. And the beauty about this, it launches low. Sometimes when you're bumping one in a bank, if you just launch a little bit higher than you want to, it can hit the bank and come back down. The beauty of this is it will just run up the bank. And some of you might say, well, why don't you choose a putter? You can absolutely use a putter, and a lot of the times, I would use a putter, particularly when it's really, really tight and shaved down in these runoff areas. Somewhere like Adair Manor, where I play quite a bit, they're very tight. That's where I would use the putter, but the hybrid just gives the ball a little bit more of a kick, a bit more speed, which can make it easier to get up the slope without feeling you've got to hit it. Sometimes with a putter in your hand, you have to feel like you've really got to give a little bit of a whack. With this, I don't feel that. I just feel like I make a putting stroke, okay, and there we go, it just wanders down there. So really good option. So let's try it now for some different lies. Let's see how versatile this shot really is. Right, so we're in the rough, really wet. I mean, look how wet it is, soaking wet. Very, very easy from these sort of lies just to stick that club straight into the ground, okay. So if you're recognising that, we've got to come down a little bit shallower into the lies this time of year. If we come down too steep and you're not moving correctly and up and out through the ball, then you can easily do that. If the lie's not too bad, I mean, crikey, if it's sitting down, you would have to do that, of course. But if it's sort of medium down, a bit like I've got here, it's worth thinking about just using it here. I might go to my regular grip now, so not the putting grip, just for when I'm chipping out of the rough with it, just to give myself a little bit more of an angle. And that's come out a little bit strong, but for many of you, from these wet, swampy lies, hitting it to 10 feet is okay. Little bit of hinge, pop it out. I mean, it's actually quite an easy little shot. I've never really done this myself. I'm just doing it here for the first time to show you, really. But I mean, actually, down a bit there, look. This is a serious option. Little hinge, pop it out. If you use your putting action here, it probably would. It wouldn't jump enough and get through what's in front of you here. I mean, look at that. There we go. Could go in. Really good option. Also a good option when it is. Sometimes you get the one where it's on the tight grass, but you've got this little clump behind it like this. That again is a really awkward shot. The hybrid will work through that very easily, and you can still nudge it pretty close there. So you can use it out of the rough. Don't think it's just from the tight lies. As I showed you, it's also good where the ball would be sitting up. Sometimes we get this one, don't we, where it sits right up on top. Very easy to go underneath it. Less so when you're using something like a 4-iron loft, of course. But the benefit of the wide sole will work through the rough, and just a little putt there. So easy when it's sitting up on top. So some different options there. I'm not saying that's something you should necessarily put into your game, but if you haven't done it before, I mean, actually I would anticipate I might give that a go at some point, because that first one I showed you where you're going straight into the wet ground, just using a hybrid and hit a little chip with the hybrid is definitely an option. And I'm going to show you one more place it's really good from, and it's from those lies that we really don't like. Yeah, these are lies you get a lot on golf courses. This is where the greenkeepers come in and out here on the short game area, so it's become a little bit of a track. And of course, these lies aren't particular lies that we'd love, but you can see it's compact and very tight and no grass at all. So but you do get into these situations on golf courses, and there are other options. I've talked about how you can use a 60 and put it back in the stance and get down pretty steep on it. Great option, but a lot of players struggle with that type of action. You could also chip it more like with a 7-iron, what have you. But again, these are quite risky. This is so safe. This is easy. You just got to do your same action we went through right at the very beginning of the video. Down the grip, really high handle, and just make a putt. No problem at all getting the contact. And there you go. I've hit that to probably about two feet off a lie like this. Now, if I was trying to try and do that with, if I did that shot with my 60, you'd be like all over that, be going, wow, what an amazing shot. That wasn't an amazing shot, but look at the result. It's just a little straightforward little putt, isn't it? And there we go again. 4 feet from the hole. So I'm just trying to open your mind a little bit to say, look, there's a number of ways in which you can get your ball around and still shoot the lowest score possible. And sometimes it's using options and shots that you might not necessarily automatically think of. Right, we're going to have one more. Let's see if I can hold this. Come on in, come round. Look at that. I mean, that's 4 shots. One's about 7 feet, and then we got 3 inside 4 feet there with the hybrid of hard packed mud. You give me any other club in my bag, I don't think I'm going to get 4 shots as close as that. So I hope for this video is open your eyes a little bit about the versatility of the hybrid. The rescue clubs are designed to rescue you from all these different situations. Use the key points in the video in terms of which one to use, how to set up, and understand from different lies and situations where you can use it. And I'm sure it's going to help you lower your scores and enjoy this great game even more. I'll see you next time.